something hidden, and we still haven't discovered yet, and probably the time will show us, but I'm not sure. And remember this case, what happened in 2002?
Yep, that's right.
At that time, there were SARS, like pneumonia, like this, coronavirus, and there were a lot of people died, but probably 8 times more than we have now, 800 people. And the China stopped that virus from spreading. So I don't know how, but they cope with that. They find out how to deal with. And now the vaccine is being tested, but probably it will take a few months
at least
to be tested, at least. Yep. But what happens with people during this period of time? Probably we will see a lot of new casualties.
Of course, but no way. So we are going to be told that way. So China, could claim them having huge casualties and perished people, and infected people, but it doesn't make really good sense, right? So if it's spread, with the help of air, right? So it doesn't matter actually what the city, yeah. So it could be well spread across the whole country easily. So if it's gets transitioned through the air.
Right. Yeah. From to human to human.
Currents of air, could be going and flying all the directions across the country and overseas, and whatever. So actually could reach any country. Literally.
Right.
So it's not. It doesn't make any sense in blocking only one city about that.
And so just while you talking, we are telling this story. So I think a while ago I was watching a news about people staying in Hainan, the island where you were.
Hainan. All right.
Hainan. Sorry, Hainan.
Yeah.
Yep. And there was a guy who was telling like there were some people spreading out some chemicals so that they wanted to stop spreading a virus from spreading out, and but what's the point? Just if this virus can transmit it from human to human, but why they try to cover the whole area, spreading out a lot of chemical compounds. Just people everywhere, they should wear a face mask, and it's kind of weird and bizarre. Probably, if we move a little bit further, thinking about probably these chemical compounds had been spread out before the virus, before things what we are seeing now. And it's really strange, like as well, along with we see people are allowed to move in, not allowed to move out. It's really strange.
Yeah, so that's interesting. So how they are going to handle the situation, right? So possibly some some squadrons of some doctors, nurses, whatever, some specialists could be moving around the city, and picking out some infected people and taking them out to some clinics and hospitals, whatever, and then they could leave the whole city all alone, and getting back to the normal life. But they can't, just leave it like this and blocked. And how about normal life? People having relatives outside, and the food delivery could be affected, and people could be really found, in hot water.
Yeah, I would say way. People found it.
People in the city really aren't lucky.
Yep, in the deep water.
Yep, in that way. Yep,
to be in the deep water, got into trouble really.
Yeah, and this stuff happened just for Lunar New Year celebrations, right? I guess we can read through this stuff, and why not later? Why especially at this time of the year where about 3 billions of billions, no, about 1 billion of people, move from one city to another city. So, so has it been
the
sensibly, chosen by the nature if it's coming from the nature? Coincidences are not random.
And the timing has been chosen deliberately, on purpose.
Purposefully and very wisely. That's right. So
and the Chinese government should take some measures and do things forcefully and decisively to prevent it.
Yeah. So let's keep our fingers crossed for Chinese government. So hopefully they could overcome that. Really grievous stuff. And, so it has never happened to China before.
Yeah, the timing and in regards to this virus, of course, it's strange why now, why not later on, and I believe there is a couple of reasons why. The first reason, of course, probably the rivals of China. They're ready, or they would like to undermine the Chinese economy at that time, at the eve of New Year, like Lunar New Year. A lot of people are going to travel, and the second reason, they want to weaken China as a ally of Russian ally, and
could be like Iran, China, and so it looks like some pieces and bits of puzzle, right? So it's going to be put together. Of course, I'm waiting for next steps, to be taken by someone, and just wait and see. So it's not the end; it's just the beginning. How to say it this way? And but I think that's enough, of these previous events. But for someone, so it's just a game of chess.
Game of chess, yeah, and and the people like pawns moving.
Yeah, they would never would want to stop. So just someone having infinity of money, just unlimited powers and so on, so they could afford whatever they want. They just want some excitement. So why don't we play this way or that way and act this or I don't know. So but hopefully they would want to stop one day.
Right.
Having seen all of these events happening.
It rings a bell, it reminds me of a horror movie, as you told before.
Yeah, Walking Dead.
Pretty much Walking Dead, really. So one of my favorite movie.
Yeah, they're giving a clue. Who knows?
Who knows? Virus could be considered as a zombie apocalypse.
As it is, yeah, but so people, don't become zombie, due to this virus. Possibly it could further on mutate in people, and people could, turn into zombies one day.
Oh my God! Yeah, and especially American are so attached to zombie movies, and they they visualize, and probably they will see, and that's a horrendous thing we have seen, and we keep up seeing. And just I don't recommend people moving to China as well. Now,
and watching zombie movies before going to China.
Yeah, and so just that's a good that you didn't find yourself in that place.
I happen not to find myself right now in China. There were some cases where I thought so I could get back there, but hopefully, so I'm not in there at this moment. But people having some strong immune system and quite powerful and being on another level of frequency, so no way for them to get infected. But never say no.
Never say no, right?
So just be always on the safe side, so it makes sense. All right, so perfect. So we can see. Let's finish it up. So let's see what's going to be told here to us.
On the first day of the year of the rat, all these shops are closed. There's pretty much nobody on the street here. I mean, this is just one of the towns you come across when you first enter the province, and people just don't know for how long it's going to be like this, for how long they have to stay indoors or risk
have you just seen
how long,
right? The dog, right? So the dog isn't infected at all. So it looks like it's pretty safe for people. It should be, but possibly it's not. It was not meant for the dog, to get infected.
Yeah, but that's why I caught myself thinking about exaggerating. Maybe that's a bit of exaggeration. And maybe it's
could be vice versa. It could be diminishing at the same time.
Or diminishing at the same time.
Yes, they don't let these journalists in the city. Yes, so they've been forewarned once they move in, so no way for them to move out of it, and they scare people off of the place. And possibly there are some zombies walking there. That's why they don't let people in.
Yeah. It's it's creepy stuff,
Yeah, so they could be some Hollywood, cameraman could just get there and shoot some video and shoot some real life movie to be getting Oscar after. That's what they really want. All right, so let's move on with our video.
有多少个人？
吃饭食欲。
早日康复吧。
7%。
It's it's pretty interesting. So man didn't see virus. He probably didn't get infected, but he is afraid of being infected in the ward, a hospital's ward.
说钟院士啊，以一个科学家。
Yeah, so there is some kind of conference going on, right? And it says now playing, so it means possibly it's going live now. So possibly it's been pre-recorded, right? Okay, let's have a look.
这个身份以呢对广大人民群众非常负责的态度提出了建议，就是原则上不去武汉，这个武汉的群众不出武汉，这是钟院士对大家的忠告，这个忠告还是非常负责任的，非常负责任的。说武汉市政府这个呼吁也是就是原则上如没有必要，建议外面的人呢不要到武汉，武汉的市民呢没有特殊的情况也不要出武汉，这样呢能使人员的流动性减少，降低病毒传播的可能，这样的话呢使防控能够尽快的取得效果。
All right, so it looks like they try to control it by blocking people in and out, and so that's why they.
I've come from Wuhan.
One more video just about to get launched. So let's wait and see what's going to be going on there in the coming days. So possibly they could, announce a claim stating so they managed to overcome it, and China is quite safe with that stuff, and yeah, so it could happen within a month of time. So who knows? Possibly this sources of virus could be found in other countries. Hopefully not, of course, but well, it could be. So you never know what's going to be the very next day.
Yeah, and a few cases have been confirmed, by the way, in the United States and in France, in Spain. Yeah, and there is something what I would like to point out and pick it up in terms of taking the virus under control. You know, when people get sick, what they do, they will go to the hospital, and we have got a lot of flock people, and probably virus can transmit it from one human to another one, and the process might be speeded up to some extent, like having a group of people standing like in front of, and so it's I don't know, it might be dangerous, and that will push the coronavirus to spread more and more the fastest way. That's why I believe the point and the bottom line is why Chinese government built or put up new hospitals at that time, and because they have got a lot of people gathered at the same place. It's really, I have seen some horrible shots and pictures, and when people were screaming, yelling, they just begging doctors to help them. It's a really horrendous thing. I haven't seen it never before, anything like that. It's like a plague, I would say.
Yeah, actually, let's consider it to be a plague. So
yeah, it's like a plague.
Who knows? It can be. So let me launch one more video. So let's see if it's lucky enough to get loaded. Just wait and see. Yep. So that's well, that really resembles some shots, from some horror movies, from zombie movies and
shouting.
So on. Yeah, shouting, neighborly supporting the virus hit Wuhan. Well, so people are so desperate not having this opportunity and possibility actually moving out and like as they used to. So they were kind of, I don't know, just separated from the real life and put in some kind of virtual life and imposed from above and so on. All right, so let's have a look at this. How do you like that?
Well, wow! We have people singing and chanting, encouraging each other. It's like a brotherhood.
Desperately doing that, and possibly they were abandoned there, and just save our souls cries.
So really impressive. Impressive. And people are staying at the places. They are not allowed to go out. At least they're afraid of coming out that places, and so
yeah, actually that's right. So why so they've been forced to stay in the city. So for instance,
strange.
if someone wishing to go out, relatives, possibly dying ones and so on, they could be thoroughly checked up, right? So at this checkpoint, so given some tests or tested out for this virus, and if they are good to go, so they could be allowed to go out. And the same way moving in, possibly it could be caused 11 million people living there. Everyone would want to move out at the same time. It could cause some disturbances in the streets, and could cause some kind of uprising and stuff like that. So, and yeah, so for China, 11 million people is nothing.
Nothing, yeah. And I believe the picture we see, so it's much easier to take under control the population living in this city. And so I don't know how many checkpoints have been set up or put up, and how it is possible now to hold people back and make them stay at home, at least. Probably they use some tools like propaganda and urge them, call for them just staying at home and please. Yeah, it's a big city. It's overwhelmed city, packed with a lot of people, and so it's really hard to contain them or restrict them from moving out.
Well, how about some food supply, right? So if they don't let anyone out, right? So just coming in and never going out. So how about this supply trucks?
Yeah, scratching my head, really. How it's
how people could be maintained? How their lives could be maintained with food and so on. Could you just imagine 11 million of people could be left without food supplies or water or whatever, I don't know.
They might be extremely hungry, and that might be starvation. How about food supply, really? And about water? And whether
people
water is poisoned
because of starvation, causing another virus.
How about
eating one?
How about eating domestic pet? It's really horrendous, and
possibly they could be making it kind of an experiment, So what could? But well, they would never do it, The China is suffering heavy financial losses right now, so the tourism and economy and people would never go there, like tourists, and people now, wouldn't even order some packages from AliExpress and so on, being scared of this virus. But of course, it's a transition from person to person. It can be getting sticky on the paper. So, but people, still afraid of this word China or Chinese or connected to China and stuff like that. All right, good. So what kind of day are you going to have tomorrow? So will it be the same exhausting to you as it was today?
I believe it's gonna be the same towards so it's gonna be busy day, and I believe I will take the situation under control. At least I'm not I will not allow that to get out of my hand.
Yeah, in China, people suffering much more.
From
we
much
could
more.
even imagine, being exhausted with our life, common life.
I don't complain that the stuff what I am talking about, what I am trying to pull out, that like my day, of course it's a long day. Yes, it's a long, busy day. But I don't have literally 40 minutes just to lay down, just kick back, and I need to do a lot of technical things like move
paperwork, possibly.
paper, classes, and
organizing
that sometimes
things and so
makes
on.
me find it sometimes stressful, stressful and discouraging a little to some extent. But Peter, he advised me, just school, it's a good place. Of course, it's a good place. So, but sometimes
if you stand out of it,
yeah.
If you keep yourself off from the place,
at least a couple of days.
The same like city of Wuhan, right? So once you're not in, so you feel yourself pretty safe. Once you get in there, so you feel kind of,
and
a little bit troubled.
Yep, and sometimes I find myself to be in a deep water. It's about education. So now people don't want to be educated; they want to be pushed. That's how it works.
It's not so good to push people, towards some learning process or how the things should be like, according to this educational system and so on.
That makes me feel discouraging.
They would want it to happening to themselves, for good reasons, but they never have to be imposed. Picking up some materials and so on. But of course, for me, especially, being in the school, so I hated geometry, math, whatever, some precise sciences, and I had to learn.
Stand it either.
But I could hardly, get it. But well, I was made, to learn the same stuff, possibly happening to kids not wishing to learn English. Possibly it's not in their element. And they just want sports or some, I don't know, dancing, or some kids are not listened to.
Right. And at my will, if I could change something in that system, so I would like to split people up in the groups. Sure, if you would like to learn math or biology, okay, just why they should go through a lot of things which probably will not come in handy. So why? And just I asked about the stuff, one teacher, and she told me like the reason why, because they now they are gathering a lot of information. They should decide in the future which subject or which occupation they will choose. But the point is, they literally like going astray. They don't like anything, whether English, Russian, and I look at the faces. They have a strong faces, like pale faces. They don't care at all.
Yeah, not sleeping at night, playing computer games on their phones. Won't do anyone good.
Some of them, and that's probably the second, maybe the first reason why sometimes I feel like sucking, like my energy is
sucking off your energy.
Drive out.
Yep. So if you don't feel yourself quite happy with the thing you do, so of course it's not a hobby, but it's kind of ordeal or some hardship for you, and that of course what the stuff you don't want to do. So it's so it gets you out of this feeling of happiness.
Yeah, right. So probably I should get enough sleep, and my mind will change. It's the whole
so let's see
thing.
At least so we have some subjects to talk about, some issues to be brought up. We have some hideous events, unfortunately, to be spoken about. So that's really cool what's going on.
Sorry for interrupting you. At every my lesson in class, which I have with students starting in the 10th grades and 11th, I'm starting with picking things up about the coronavirus. Just a couple of minutes. They look at me like a ghost, like not. Like crank, so oh man, so what are you talking? Just leave us alone.
Yeah, teacher,
what
leave the kids alone. Yeah,
from
like,
us?
the song goes. Yeah, that's strange.
Strange.
But yeah, so later on, these kids will be recalling this stuff, you were trying to give them, and they could regret not taking part and to be not being involved in the stuff you were delivering them. Yeah, but it's so time will
way
show.
of thinking. Yeah,
of course. You just what you offer is the stuff being a little bit more modern that this educational system is all about right now.
Yeah, that's why probably that makes them feel like boring, because they are not they are not aware, then they are unaware.
Yeah, you're too much updated on the education, so how it's supposed to be. You could see it from the other point of view and other perspective. And
right.
Yeah, so it's all about not to be educated, but about to be intelligent.
And that's right. And thank you for encouraging me, and that's really important, remarkable.
Yeah.
Just
so what you feel is
struggles
right to do, so of course it's good to do. So keeping up with this stuff, and so if it's not about us to do it, but who else could do it? So it looks like no one. So we could do our share of.
It reminds me saying about paratroopers. Like if
no
like
one
you
but
said,
us.
No one but us.
No one but us. Somehow to be directly translated. Yeah, but it's not about killing people. It's about delivering some spark of some some concepts or ideas what could be done in a better way than what's being done right now to the kids and the children. But oh well, so good. So we have just discussed really some interesting stuff over here and on bbc.com. So that's really perfect. So good. We could so let's see, we have Wednesday coming up, right?
Wednesday coming up. Let's get in touch, and if you have some spare time, and I will drop a line to you. And how many classes do you have tomorrow?
Not a lot. Yeah,
not
a few of them, of course. And